Already got escaped chickens. Oh, there's boogers over there. Hey, pretty bird. You want some num nums? Do you want a cucumber? Do you want a cucumber? Hi. You want a cucumber? Squirt? I know, right? Hi. How you doing, Greg? Decided to give Pretty Bird a cucumber real quick and figured I'd go online. Yeah, you got people watching. You know we're doing all right. Hanging in there. It's another day in paradise, like I always say. Num nums? Is that your num nums? Num num num? Num num num? Squirt! Hey, pretty girl. Are you done? No? Num 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 num? Herbert likes the cucumber. Do you like the cucumber? That's a good boy. Pretty Bird and Squirt are always together now. And Nugget's never far. I'm convinced she thinks she's a goose. I don't think she realizes she's one of the chickens because she always hangs out with the geese. She's always nearby. The chickens are over there having fun. General Zoe's letting everybody know who's in charge. You're gonna go pick on them? Oh no, you're gonna go get some of that kale. Oh yeah. I mean, Pretty Bird and Nugget kind of bonded before Squirt and the other chickens came around, and I don't know. I mean, Nugget didn't exactly grow up with Pretty Bird, but once Nugget was a little bit bigger and we started taking Nugget out on walks with us with Pretty down in Arizona, they started bonding, and they were the only two birds, so I guess it kind of makes sense that they would have stuck together over time. And now, even though there are other chickens around and roosters around, Nugget doesn't really care for him. Cock-a-doodle-doo! Nuggy, Nuggy, what are you doing? Get the num nums. Good bird. Yeah, I know you don't like my red pants. I get it. I know. Num nums. Num nums. Pibert, love the cucumber? Do you love the cucumber? Num num nums. Pretty bird. I love the noises he makes when he's eating. He always does that. He's always like, I'm not. You go join Squirt over there. Look at the size difference. It's crazy. I did not expect her to be that small of a cackling goose because cackling geese, I guess they have different size ranges. I thought there was only one version of cackling geese, but there isn't. But apparently in the wild, and I made sure of this, I did research, I made sure of this, I didn't not want to risk that, let's say Pretty Bird gets into a mating mood and he tries something with her, I wanted to make sure that she would not be in danger. Yes, I'll fill up the water in a minute. I'm sorry. Muffin's over there. Muffin! Kitty, kitty! Come here, kitty, kitty, kitty! Come here, mamas! Come on! There you are! Hi, sweetheart! She never leaves the property. She does not go after the chickens or the birds. She just hangs out with me. Muffin! What are you doing, Nugget? What was that? Well, I thank you. I love my birdies. I love that Pretty Bird is so unique. Because he's a hybrid. He's a hybrid Canada Chinese goose. And those aren't super common. So he's got the orange feet instead of the black feet. So she's got the colors of a Canada goose. Even though she's a cackling goose, she's a subspecies of a Canada goose. So she's like a miniature version of a Canada goose. And no, I did not trim her wings like that. That is how she came. I only got her this last December. Once she goes through a proper molt, I will be trimming them the same way I trim Pretty Bird's wings, which is to take a section of the flight feathers out on both sides. That renders them flightless, but not unable to get off the ground if they wanted to speed up a little bit and fly a little. That's just how I personally prefer it. I like them to have a little bit of oomph from their wings. I don't like to take it away all the way. Hey, bird. Nom noms? Oh yeah, she is a cutie pie. And she's fully grown. That's just how big she gets. Up, have one of the chickens jump into the pool. Nugget, quit chasing the rooster. Barbecue, that's what you get when you go outside of the fence line. The cat's gonna mess with you. Come here. Oh yeah. He loves his cucumbers. I just figured I'd go live real quick. Yeah, I haven't really been, No, he just loves cucumbers. That's just his thing. Anybody who's been around for a long time will attest to that. Pretty Bird. He goes crazy over cucumbers. He goes crazy over kale. Those are his two favorite things in the world. And he'll chow down on it, especially if I'm holding it. He's a boy. We thought Pretty Bird was a girl for the longest time. And then he proved me otherwise. You can actually find the video because I caught it on camera while I was at the playground. He tried to hump the ground. Yes, Squeaky. Doesn't she have the cutest little honk? She's such a little squeaky. Want more? More cucumber? Num nums? But yeah, just so in case anybody's worried about it, with her size and him being a male. See, with Canada geese, they're different from farm geese in the, when it comes to the art of mating. Canada geese actually have an entire ritual. Ah, he took it. All right, hold on. Let me grab more. Hold on. I gotta clean up over here. I'm just out here working on my projects. Here, I've got another one. You want more? You want more? What? You want it? Oh my goodness. Well, thank you for stopping in. We're in Texas. So it's like what, like 4 or 5 in the afternoon? I'm not 100% sure right now. Ooh, Nugget wants some cucumber. Oh, what? You walked away. You walked away. You know what's funny is the pecking order still starts with Pretty Bird, then Squirt, then Nugget, and then whatever pecking order is within the other chickens. But Pretty Bird is still the boss, and Nugget is still the boss of all the other chickens. No one will mess with Nugget. Look how beautiful that iridescent color. How pretty it is, all shiny in the sunset. Nuggy, you are a very pretty chicken. Do you know that? Yes, you are. Beautiful. Anyways, what I was going to say, if anybody's concerned about Pretty Bird mating with Squirt and hurting her, well, the chance of that happening are extremely low. I looked into it extensively and also spoke to different breeders of Canada geese who breed cackling geese, giant Canada geese, and the regular size ones. When it comes to these guys, they actually have an entire process that they go through. Like you can... Chicken's chasing a cat. Muffin! Leave barbecue alone. Oh, the names of the animals? Yeah. My kids, they started... They named all the chickens after food. So that right there is sour chicken. That's honey chicken. We've got barbecue chicken. We've got teriyaki chicken, rosemary chicken, barbecue chicken, spicy chicken, and we've got our big rooster, General Zoe's chicken. So, yeah. As you can see, a beautiful sense of humor. But yeah, like I was saying, Canada geese, they have an entire process. There's a whole mating process that goes on. They actually have to ask the female for permission. Like it has to be an agreed upon mating. Canada geese also mate for life. So it's different from what we see in our farm geese, where our farm geese are a lot more aggressive about the mating. And kind of go for it and often have like their own little harem, or rarely have one female that that's the only female they stick to. In Canada geese and the wild geese, it's actually that they are, hi mamas, they are loyal to their female. And in the wild, Canada geese of Pretty Bird size, so he's not a purebred Canada, so he is slightly different, but approximately Pretty Bird size, Canada geese do crossbreed with cackling Canada geese. And they do just fine. There's no, like, he's not going to hurt her. If she agrees to it, if they do mate, he wouldn't be killing her in the process or hurting her in the process. Now, am I hoping they mate? Not really. My main goal in getting another goose was really just for Pretty Bird to have a buddy who's a goose. And we do plan on adding more Canada geese to this picture. Something that's either as small as her or in between her and Pretty Bird size. And then probably a giant Canada goose too, at some point. Now this will all happen over time. She was hatched last year, so she's not even going to be accepting any advances from Pretty Bird if he tries anything. She won't even be accepting anything for another good 2 years at least. Canada geese actually take until they're about 2 to 4 years old before they actually start mating and start laying eggs. So there is no concern in that area. And like I said, Canada geese, they don't force themselves on the females. And since he's appears to have a strong amount, like a large amount of the Canada goose DNA, even though he is a hybrid, behaviorally and like genetically, you can see he has a lot of the characteristics of a Canada goose. So chances of him being like a farm goose when it comes to the mating part is pretty low. You tell Muffin to get bent. What's up, honey? Cock-a-doodle-doo! Sometimes he gets mad at me when I do that, so I like to mess with him. All right. See? Pretty, pretty. Num, num, num. Well, I'm glad you joined us, hon. Thank you so much for coming in. Hope you subscribed. Hope you like the videos that I post. I'm trying to get better about posting more. I need to get better about posting regular videos more and not just shorter clips. I hope you have a good night. Yes, General Zoes. Muffin, do you need help? Are you stuck? I know you're not stuck. Oh, Greg, yeah, they're doing all right. The kids are good. Hubby's been in pain, with the big snowstorm that came through Texas. The weather change, that always hits him a little hard, but he's a strong man. He's hanging in there. But other than that, everything's all right. I mean, it's the usual, nothing that other people don't deal with. The usual health issues, the usual money issues, the usual life stress stuff, But as long as everything's strong and happy on the family front, that's all that really matters. That's how we look at it anyway. Uh-oh. Muffin. Careful. Muffin's gotta learn. She's like, oh crap. Run away! Yeah, I laughed at you. Oh, pretty bird. They can't have a little bit of cucumber. Pretty bird. People were just praising you guys for getting along so well. Yeah, they did. You coming? Pretty, pretty. Pretty, pretty. Pretty, pretty. What do you think about Mama raising another goose? Hi. Hi. That head bobbing is him actually saying hello. All right, spicy. Barbecue. Let's go. Come on. Let's go. Back under. Thank you. Goofy chickens. Come on, pretty bird. Pretty, 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 pretty. Pretty, 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 pretty. I think it's just because Squirt is so small, but I swear he's gotten bigger. There's our decoy. Helps protect the animals from aerial predators. Doesn't guarantee no attacks, but it helps. Rupert, are you confused because the grass is not green year-round? Huh? Hi, buddy! Every time he does that, it makes me think of children when they run towards the flocks of pigeons. And they have so much fun making all the pigeons fly and then they land again. That's what I think when Pretty Bird runs through the chicken flock. Yeah. Num num. Num 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 num. Yep, Squirt found the other piece of cucumber. She's calming down. She'll come over and she'll eat out of my hand sometimes. But it's not like a normal, regular thing that she does now. She was not hand raised. She's not tame, but she's also not very tame. Oh, yeah. And the funny thing is, Pretty Bird still is pretty quiet most of the time. It's if somebody new shows up in the yard, he'll honk for a minute. Um, if something bugs him, if he sees a predator, he's really good about calling out predators, aerial ones. He always gives me a heads up if there's an aerial predator and I'm able to react right away. The chickens know to run into the aviary or inside right away. And yes, I took the aviary apart a little bit because I'm a weirdo and I get ideas. And then I need to do the ideas. And if I don't have money to buy something, I start using things that I already have, even if that means taking something apart. But the chickens aren't tiny right now. So I'm not too worried about it anymore because they're bigger now. But I'm gonna fix it again. I know. I'm making myself more work. I just have an obsession lately with creating and working with wood, and with having the cockatiel babies, I needed to expand on cages inside. And I didn't have money to buy, like, what's it called? The metal stuff, the gating, the chicken, whatever you call it, the 1 by 1 inch square metal wiring to build the cage. And I didn't want to spend $100 or didn't have $100 to spend on buying a big old cage for the parrots. So I just built one. I don't know if I posted that. I know I recorded it. Gotten really bad about it. I record a lot. I just don't really seem to remember to post it. That's where I get sidetracked because I've been kind of busy. But yeah, I'm just happy that Pretty Bird has this now. This is what I wanted for him at a minimum. This is the minimum scenario. I wanted Pretty Bird at least to have his own flock, to have other birds around, to have at least one other goose, and to have an environment where, he could live a goose life. And as much as I know Pretty Bird enjoyed it, I did not want him to be stuck in a house for the rest of his life. I have no problem with people who have pet geese who keep them in the house for, periods of time or whatever else. But in Arizona, it was so limited with going outside because of the weather and it always being so hot for periods of times, which made it impossible for me to take him out without worrying about his flippers getting burned. And that just was really frustrating for me. And I bet for him too. Because a healthy bird, and we're talking about geese, ducks, and chickens. Yes, honey, you too. They need to have the ability to forage on a daily basis. And when you can't do that because of the weather, like there's a constant gap, that's not good. And I did my best to give him the best that I could, literally carrying him across the street just so he could go forage on the grass and all that. But this is just so much better. Having the property in the backyard is amazing. Though I'm not sure if Pretty Bird would follow me anymore. I really don't know. It's been so long since I've taken him on a walk that I genuinely don't know if Pretty Bird would still walk around with me if I start walking around. I haven't done it in so long, and he's now imprinted on other birds, and he's an adult now. So, and the fact is that most geese don't continue that for the rest of their lives. Most geese actually stop that at the latest at around a year, even if you hand raise them. So it's just, I'm just happy that he's happy. That's all that matters to me. And like I said, I look forward to soon, hopefully, raising another little gosling. But right now, first I need to get these baby parrots raised up. And you need to grow them feathers back in, Squirt. Yeah, you do. She's so tiny. Like her flippers, her feet are like this big. Like they're so itty bitty, like this. Like that's like her feet are tiny. Pretty Bird's feet, they're they're more like this. Like almost my whole hand. It's crazy the size difference. But I think it's kind of cool that when looking at Squirt, you can really see the differences between Pretty Bird and his paternal side of the DNA. Like you can see the similarities a lot better. Squirt! You can see the similarities a lot better, but you can also see the differences way better. Like when you look at Pretty Bird's white patch versus Squirt's white patch. The white patch that Squirt has is one of the variations that Canada geese are supposed to have, where it's Pretty Bird, you can see it shaped very differently. And then even when it comes to how black the top of his head and his neck is, when you look at him, you kind of see a brown tint to it. When you look at her, you see it's a deep black color. I don't know how well y'all can see this on the camera, but there is a significant difference. And then obviously his feet, his orange feet. Yeah, the feet that had me confused for the longest time in the beginning. Why I didn't know that you were a hybrid for the first few weeks of your life. And then Squirt with, of course, the typical black feet, like Canada geese usually have. And then you have the subtle differences. When you look at the chest and the feathers individually, you're going to see that there's a lot of subtle differences. But there's also a lot of similarities that anybody who doesn't know Canada geese is going to look at Pretty Bird and just think that he's a Canada goose. I've had that actually happen a lot. I've had people thinking that he was a purebred. I've even had people thinking I stole him. I'm like, okay, you go try and steal a Canada goose from a lake and tell me how that works out for you. Now, Pretty Bird is legal. Now with Squirt, I actually have a permit for her. You have to have a permit to have a Canada goose. You can't just have them, get them from a random location. So just because you see me here with these birds, do not go and grab an egg or a gosling from the wild thinking that that's okay. It is not okay. Even if you find an animal in distress, you need to contact authorities. At the minimum, you need to work with somebody who is licensed to take care of those animals. You need to contact somebody so that they can tell you what you're supposed to do, what's okay. The laws, as in any location in the U.S., are always enforced at a different level. Even though the laws will be the same, you find wardens in some areas that are very strict and wardens in other areas that are not that strict. Now, for anybody who doesn't know, a warden is basically like nature's police. You have the human police, which is our sheriffs and our police officers and our patrols and all those guys. And then you have the wardens, which basically are the guys that enforce the laws regarding our wildlife. So those are the guys that, if you go out and say, for an example, it's not hunting season for deer and you're busted shooting a deer, the warden would be the one to come and serve you. The warden would be the one to come and fine you. The warden would be the one that would come and investigate you in most cases. And again, like I said, there's variations. In some areas, the wardens are very strict. They enforce the laws down to the T. They're very specific about it. And in other areas, they understand some certain moral misunderstandings, or that not everybody knows the laws about animals or about wildlife. And unless you're a repeat offender or you did something that you obviously knew was wrong, they're not gonna come after you. But yeah, there are some variations, but the law is pretty strict when it comes to wildlife. Certain animals, like regular farm animals, like the chickens over here, these chicken breeds, these are all just regular chicken breeds. You can purchase, hatch, own them without having to have a permit. But then you have animals where you have to have different levels of permits. So some animals you require a permit where you just have to let the government know that you are getting this animal, and you have to purchase this animal from somebody who already has a permit. So you can't just buy it somewhere random and then get a permit for it. That's not how it works. You can only get it from an already established breeder, permitted legal breeder. And then you have permits where you have to literally earn the permit. So that would mean that you have to like meet some level of requirement, and that can be everything from paying money and like having to take certain classes, or having to fulfill a certain amount of hours that you're working under a professional to learn how to handle this animal. A lot of that I've seen, well, heard of and seen, is a thing in Florida when it comes to poisonous snakes. Say, for an example, with some snakes, you have to have, say, like, or with crocodiles, to own a crocodile. You can only have a permit if you are doing it for agricultural reasons. Not agricultural. Darn it, what's the word? You know, when it has to do with, like, helping the species. I forgot the word for it. There's a specific word. Or, like, educational reasons. Or, say, if you're a zoo. Or something in that category. And then you also have to, like, have a certain amount of hours, say a certain amount of thousands of hours. Yeah, rehab would be another reason why you could have a permit. But yeah, it's like you have to literally have like thousands of hours to like own a croc or own an alligator. And again, it's not just anybody that can do it. Like, you have to have a specific reason for it. That is one of the reasons that they accept. And that's for like crocs, for an example, or like for certain crocs or certain snakes or something. And not every state has those same rules. So there are some rules that are federal, like regarding migratory birds, like Canada geese. Those are federal laws. And then we have state laws where every fish and game of every state has their own variations of laws of how they manage pets and the pet trade within their own state. So you could have, and this is just a random example, and I'm not basing this on truth or on actual law. I'm just trying to give an example that is not necessarily true. So randomly out there, everybody saw Tiger King, I'm assuming, or at least heard of him. So like in Oklahoma, you could at some point earn a tiger, but in New York, you can't. It doesn't matter if you have a permit or not. It doesn't matter if you're coming in from another state where you got a permit and where you got the animal. It doesn't matter. You cannot bring that animal in as a pet unless you're like a zoo. You know what I mean? And even then, you might have to meet other requirements prior to being able to come there. So it's really important that if you want animals that are not your average, buy them at the pet store, at like, the farmer's market or something, or the feed store kind of animals. If you're looking for those kind of animals, make sure that you inform yourself. Make sure that you're aware of whether or not you plan on staying in your state, because there are plenty of people that have to give up animals that they have and love because they end up moving, and they weren't aware that now that they're moving to, I don't know, Virginia or Missouri or something, this animal is not an animal that you can keep, even with a permit. So, and that's one of the things that I did. I did a whole lot of research when it came to moving with Pretty Bird, and how me having a hybrid goose could be viewed differently in different states. But what it came down to is that it's a federal law. So therefore, I didn't have any worries about Pretty Bird. And we don't plan on leaving Texas. So at this point, I only need to focus on Texan law, federal law and Texan law. So, yeah. It can get all kinds of confusing once you get into all that stuff. Oh Lord, it took me like a good 6 months just to figure out if Pretty Bird was legal or not. Because I got him from a farm or homestead, whatever. It was a small scale little place. They had geese and I think some goats or something. I don't know. They had a couple of farm animals. And I got him as an egg, and the egg wasn't even really supposed to be fertile. It was supposed to be for eating. And I didn't see any Canada geese there, so I'm not even aware if they had Canada geese or if this was a wild Canada goose that came in. I didn't see any. I didn't ask because it wasn't even a thought. The kids wanted to incubate an egg. The egg was coming from what I regarded to be a homestead or a farm. And they told me it wasn't fertile, so I threw it in the incubator, not thinking anything of it, as a homeschool project. One of them never developed. And ta-da! May I introduce Pretty Bird? And then, after several weeks, he started showing signs of being a Canada goose. And I was so confused because I was like, he's got orange feet. That makes no sense. Canada geese don't have orange feet. And that's when I came across hybrids, or mules, as some people call them. And yeah, that's when I started calling the wardens in my surrounding area and started doing extensive research. Pippa, go night-night? Are you going night-night? Are you tired? You go night-night. Night-night, Pippa. Night-night. I got you. You can go night-night. It's okay. Night-night. Night-night. Goofy bird. I love you. No, once it gets dark, the chickens go inside. The geese don't. I don't know why, but the geese don't go inside. The chickens do. I didn't figure out that Pretty Bird was a hybrid or what kind of hybrid he was for the longest time. And I am so used to the government only giving me half-truths with being married to a 100% disabled vet and having had so many situations where we didn't know something simply because we didn't specifically ask that specific question, right? Where, like, it would seem common sense to anyone that if you give them this knowledge, that they would respond with this information. But it's not like that. You gotta pull the worms out of the nose, nice and slow. Okay? So, after going through that for many years, even though I was talking to people who were, state employees, federal employees, whatever you want to call it, and, people who knew the law, I still would not take one person's word for it. I would not take one, article's word for it. So it took me a good 4 to 6 months before I was 100% sure that I wasn't breaking the law and that I wasn't doing anything wrong by keeping this animal. And I was terrified in the beginning that I was somehow going to be told that I couldn't keep him, even though I didn't do anything wrong, and I was going to have him taken away, and he was going to get put down simply for existing. And it was terrifying. And around the same time, I was finding all these articles about this lady who had a Canada goose who was refusing to leave. Followed her inside and everything. Just this young Canada goose that she nursed to health at some point. It just has been stuck with her. It would not leave. She tried to return it many times to the wild. The Canada goose would find its way back to her over and over and over again. And the state found out about it after she had this goose for 4 years. And they decided to take it. And the court was deciding that they wanted to put it down. And she was fighting the state through the court, basically saying, look, I didn't do anything wrong. This animal chose me. I simply helped an animal, and it got stuck with me because it chose to be stuck with me. It imprinted. And it was just such a sad situation. And it just was scaring the bejesus out of me because I was like, they're going to take my bird. But, yeah, I was very relieved when I found out that there's nothing anybody can do. So by law, if we're going to be politically correct, by law, Pretty Bird is a hybrid Chinese goose. He is not a hybrid Canada goose. By law, he is a hybrid Chinese because his mom was a Chinese goose. Well, bless you. Are you okay? Are you choking? Squirt. Well, don't keep eating. Go get some water, doofus. This happens sometimes. They dislodge it. They go use water. Go get water. Go do it. Go get your water. See? And this is why it's so important for geese and ducks to have water at all times. They have to have at least one source of water where they can not just fit their entire beak into it, but their entire head. Like, at least to where their neck begins. They have to have access to that depth of water at all times. Because, like their nose, for an example, their nose is a hole that goes straight through their beak. So you can, if you line it up right, you can actually look through a goose's nose or a chicken's nose from one side to the other side. Things like straw, hay, feed, vegetables, all kinds of things, dirt, whatever else can easily get stuck in there. And they use water to clean out their airways on a regular basis. They have to have water to be able to eat. They have to have water to be able to breathe, basically, to be able to properly care for their own airways and for their own food. But take care of their esophagus and everything else. Num nums? Alright, goofy bird. Hey, Spicy. So Pretty Bird and Squirt have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They have 7 sources of water at all times. 7 sources of water. And 4 of them they are able to go inside of and take a bath inside of. Because that's another thing. They have to be able to take a bath on a regular basis. What is it, Spicy? They have to be able to take a bath on a regular basis because they are waterfowl. These are not dry land animals. These are not desert animals. They are waterfowl. Not that desert animals don't need water, because that's a huge misconception too. Reptiles need water, and lots of it too. They need constant access to it to stay healthy. But yeah, they need to have access to water, these guys, so that they can clean off their feathers. Just like chickens need to have access to dirt and sand baths to be able to clean and protect their feathers and their skin. The same way. Hi! What's up? I love that face. Yes, I love you. You're my silly goose. Anyway, guys, I gotta go and get their nighttime food and everything ready. I'll try to post a video soon of them. I have a bunch of stuff. I just need to start posting it. Pretty pretty. Num nums? Num 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 num? Num 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 num? Num num num? Hi. What? What is it, pretty bird? What is it, buddy? Well, I'm glad that you stopped in and actually stuck around. I really do appreciate it. We just want to share the joy of having such a unique animal. That's why the kids said to start the channel. It was all about the fact that Pretty Bird brought us so much joy. They thought it wouldn't be fair if we didn't share him. Because if he could bring us happiness, then he could bring others happiness too. Alrighty, guys. Y'all have a wonderful evening. Thank you so much for stopping in tonight, Greg. I'll see y'all next time. Good night. Poobert. Poobert. Say night night. Night night. Night night. Night night. Night night. I love that he always answers. Bye.